we're going to start with volleyball. Head coach Patrick Hall starting his 8th season. He's 187 and 87 in 7 years. With us, right here, is to my immediate left is Eden Hebert, a sophomore from Midland, played at Gossel High School, the team's leading returner. In the middle, Ebony with an I, Sapien, a sophomore from Holcomb, Kansas. The team was 19 and 16 last year, Region 6 runner-up. And they will open this weekend with Pima, New Mexico Military, South Mountain, and Odessa in the New Mexico Military Classic. And then their home opener will be Friday, August 30th, and what I'm commonly referring to as a day from hell for me, against Dodge City at 6:30 here at the arena. So we'll open it up with Coach and then we'll open up with questions.
Okay, well, I think, what best describes our team this year going into the season is 11 freshmen. We've never had 11 freshmen before. We have the 3 returning sophomores. And so that's dictating everything from the pace of practice to the structure of our offense and defense. And so, as you can imagine, with 11 freshmen, we still have a lot of questions lineup-wise. We've had the typical preseason where we have a few nagging injuries here and there that have kept a few kids out for only just a few days for the most part. That's never a good thing in preseason when kids need all those reps. But we'll have everybody back, at some point, and it's a learning process. So we think we have a lot of talent in the gym, and we want to just be ready to go at the end of October. That's our goal.
Nice push last year, came close to getting to the Nationals, and we're edged by Seward County, but expect big things again. It's going to be another good conference race as well.
Yeah, sorry, would you ask me that question again?
Expect a good conference race as usual.
Oh, yeah, I think the conference is going to be stronger. I think there's been a couple of other schools that have made a push to acquire more international players, and that's going to make for more competition across the board. I think it's going to be much deeper, frankly, than it's been in the last couple of years, and we anticipate a lot more matches that are going to test us. I think that's always a good thing when the conference gets stronger. I think it can only help you. So I'm looking forward to that part.
With the 11 freshmen coming into your program this year, just have you done any team bonding exercises to kind of get everybody to know one another? And just, if so, like, what have you?
Yeah, that's called practice 3 times a day. We did take a day off, went to the zoo. So that was our one day off in preseason. But, we're together a lot in the preseason. We practice 2 or 3 times a day. And if we can't bond being around each other that much, then we definitely have a problem that won't be resolved by spending more time with each other. So,
Girls, your thoughts on the season?
I'm really excited. It's definitely different having 11 freshmen and only 3 returners, but there's a lot of potential in the team. We have very versatile players, so I'm excited to see the outcome.
Really, I just have the same thing to say. There's a lot of potential in the gym, like she said. A lot of new players. I think everyone is really willing to work hard this year. They are coachable, and yeah, just really excited.
Did you guys have a good summer, good off season?
Yeah, it was a nice break.
Yeah.
Good to be back, though.
Yeah, it's always good to be back.
Coach, only having 3 returners, it's usual for junior college. You'd probably like to have a couple more in there with some experience, but they can get it by experience or fire.
I mean, these 3 young ladies are very mature, in addition to being superb athletes. Having those 3 personalities in our gym are 3 people that we know we can count on. We never have to worry about them on or off the court. So, that's a real asset for us and with these freshmen. So, everybody likes a little bit more experience on the court. So when the freshmen are out there, they're surrounded by a few more people that know what they're doing. So that's put a little extra pressure on these 3 sophomores. And they've handled themselves really well. So they're doing a great job for us, and they're going to be our foundation, certainly early in the season, and we're counting on them.
What's the pool look like at New Mexico?
Well, Odessa's always tough. Nimi's always tough. The other 2 schools, they're always competitive. But, Odessa and Nimi are always right there, competing to go to nationals. And Nimi always has a lot of big arms. They're not always real tall, but they get up and they hit very hard. So that speed of the attack is something that's always great for us to see. Odessa's usually a little bit taller. It's always a great opening tournament for us, and we hope to get the most out of it this year as well.
To the players, just what is your level of comfort with being a leader?
Yeah, it's different this year for sure, knowing that we're it this year, just us 3 sophomores. So I have to come in with a lot of confidence for sure. It's different, but still have learning to do, but I feel pretty good about it.
Sophomores last year set a really good example, so just filling their shoes. Yeah, being confident. Being a good leader.
Ed, talk about your role this year. Last year was, you started some, but this year you're going to kind of be counted on as that number 1 setter.
Yeah.
Just talk about your confidence level, being able to do that.
Yeah, confidence is definitely something I've struggled with, and after last year, that's something I have to really step up, and I've realized that. So something that I'm taking day by day, but I'm definitely up for it and going to do my best to be as confident as I can, be the best leader. So take role in the court, take charge.
Eb's always done a really nice job for us in the weight room, pound for pound, definitely the strongest player on our team, really pushes herself there. That kind of thing, is the sort of quiet leadership that a lot of kids can see and respond to, and I think she brings that to the court as well. She's a really solid player for us out there, and as you know, you have to have that kind of solid, smooth performance from the setter position where Eb doesn't get rattled ever, and that's a huge asset for us. So she's doing a really nice job in that pivotal position.
Patrick, is this one of those years where, you want to win every game, but the September record's not going to be nearly as indicative of what this team might finish up as, where kind of October 1st is maybe where you want to point toward really nearing it up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we kind of, to be honest, I kind of approach every year that way. We're always trying to be our best at the end. And you want to win not just every match, but you want to win every point. And so we're going to approach every match that way too. At the same time, we know we have a ways to go, and if we can just keep building bit by bit, at the end, we have the pieces. If we can make that all fit together, I think we will be right there again, as we've been for the last 7 years. So I think we can make that happen.
Anything else for Coach Holler to players? Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, next up will be women's soccer. 15th year for the guy over there. The only coach in history, obviously. 206, 49-5 record. With him in the middle is Jenna Bass, that's spelled B-O-E-S-E. She's a sophomore from Wichita. She was a first-team all-conference player last year. Here next to me is Addie White, a sophomore from Mueller, a forward, second-team all-conference last year. They get to open the season. They're the first team to open by an hour. First Blue Dragon team to open the year. Thursday night at 6 o'clock against Trinidad State at the Salt Hawk, and then on Saturday at 2 against Indian Hills. So we'll open it up with a statement from Coach Lane, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Just like everybody, looking forward to getting started. I'm probably sick of preseason practice by now. We've been going on nearly 3 weeks. I think we're all sick of it. Just ready to get going. We got a tough non-conference first 5 games. Still waiting to get a few pieces in. We had some unluckiness at the embassy and some luck at the embassy, but we should have the full crew here by the weekend. So obviously then after that, we're looking forward to playing. But our sophomores have been great. We returned 12, which makes my life a lot easier. We had 11 of them freshmen last year, and life was not easy.
No, it was
It
not.
wasn't easy for these guys, and it certainly wasn't easy for me. But it's amazing just having that many sophomores, just what it does to the leadership. And just in general, practice seems to run easier and stuff like that. But Trinidad will be decent. Indian Hills were very good last year. They're in the top 15. Then we play Navarro. They're always in the top 5. And we got Rose State. They were in the top 15 in the nation last year too. So a really good non-conference season, I guess. And then we go straight into Barton. And obviously Barton won the West last year. So, I think we'll be prepared nicely by then. And just looking forward to it. We won't have as many players this year. But we'll have more quality rather than quantity. Like I said, year 15. I mean, it's been a long time. I was talking about pre-season the other night. For me, when I was 36, hey, pre-season wasn't too bad. It was warm, but these were still 18 and 19-year-olds. Now here I am at 51. They're still 18 and 19-year-olds, but I'm still stuck with 95-degree heat. So I'm looking forward to pre-season being over. And get into our 6 a.m. training where it's nice and cool. I think they will be as well.
Oh, yeah.
But just looking forward to it, like I said, and happy with these two and the sophomores in general. But it's nice to have sophomores who really care about the program and winning and leading. We had some of that last year, but we were very sophomore light last year. And so these guys come in as freshmen, don't really know what to expect. You don't take ownership in a team when you come in, a week into it and you play and stuff like that. But I think they understand the importance of the fact that it's theirs. And their leadership has been great so far in pre-season, and just looking forward to getting started like everybody else.
How do you develop that? How do you develop that ownership for the sophomores?
I think it just comes with time for them. But you have to have the right kids. You have to have competitive kids. If you've got a kid who's not going to go to class or who isn't overly concerned about the team and stuff like that, doesn't matter whether they're freshman or sophomore, they're not going to get it anyway. But I think it starts with having competitive kids who care about winning and losing. And then, by the time they become sophomores, there's just something in the maturity, even by the spring. Like, I almost wish we play soccer in the spring sometimes. Because the maturity levels, the change in them over 6 months really it's a remarkable change. I think they'd even all agree themselves, like, they look at freshmen now and go, I can't believe I was like that. I was like, oh, you were like that. You were worse. And some of our freshmen, like Bailey's not here, but, the transformation from her last year, I mean, I'd say there wasn't a day went by last year that we weren't fighting over something. Well, I was fighting with her. She was just nodding. But, and this year, I mean, she's been really good. Just really good. But I think it's just having the kids with the right mentality. You have to want to win and be competitive and not like losing. And if you have that, then I think that the natural state of taking over becomes theirs. I mean, we talk about it all the time, that it's theirs. It's ours. And all the good teams I've really had here, the sophomores really bought into the fact that they wanted to win. They wanted to win a region. They wanted to win a conference. And they wanted to leave their little piece of the legacy. And I think you should come in as a freshman. You're just out of high school. You're selfish. You're immature. You're just stuck in this me world, and then you kind of get into college and you get to deal with teammates, and some teammates you don't like because they're still in the me world, and then the ones you respect and like come into the our world. And I think these two guys are a great example of what the our is. We definitely have a lot of kids this year who care about it, and that'll help us over the course of the year.
Girls, how do you develop your chemistry? Chemistry is such a big part of it, and like Sammy's saying, how do you develop this? What he's talking about, this experience in chemistry, to where you're not in a me world.
Well, we had a lot of sophomores. We had a big freshman class, and so we kind of all stuck together for a while now. So we know how each other works, and how to rub each other the right way during practice, I guess. But
well, chemistry goes 2 ways. It's on and off the field. You can have chemistry on the field, but you can also have it off the field. And I feel like this year compared to last year, we have better chemistry on the field because our off the field chemistry like is really good. Like last year we kind of were segregated and
I'd have to agree with that.
So the players, just what was it like to come in as a freshman, and then figure things out after you've gotten here? Now you're the leaders or
Right, and I
part of
think,
that core.
yeah, knowing that how we felt coming in as freshmen, I feel like as a sophomore, I want to, help the freshmen as much as I can, showing them, you do this, you do that, don't do this, otherwise Sammy's going to yell at you, do this instead, different things like that. And I think that will, our sophomore, having a big sophomore class will really get us going.
yeah, like knowing what we felt coming in as freshmen, I knew like I didn't want those freshmen to feel the way that I did. Like there were certain things I didn't like or certain things I didn't understand, so like be sure to let the freshmen know, that sort of stuff.
What's it like to be from Bueller and to be a leader on this team?
Well, it's pretty cool to be from Bueller because I'm local and a lot of people come to games and watch, but to be a leader on this team, and I don't know, it's just pretty fun.
I think that's something that's always been important to us, was try and have local kids who've really contribute. When you look back on the years from Franz, was one of our leading scorers for a long time. She just had a baby, got the baby home from hospital, so she's really excited about that. The kid was born premature. That kind of puts wins and losses in perspective for them. But Franz was a leader. She was from Bueller. Downing obviously scored a ton of goals here from Hutchinson. We had Jasmine Hartshorn from Hutchinson who scored a ton of goals. And Addie will score a ton of goals this year. So for us, it's always been important that we've had local kids. Because again, you buy into it more. It's one thing trying to convince a kid from Texas that this is important and this is yours and you have to really go out and represent all the time. But when you've got a local kid whose parents are going to come and watch, whose grandmother and grandfather are coming to watch, it just gives it that little more, it brings it home a little bit more to them. And so, we're fortunate that we've always been able to have local kids who have really participated and contributed to our success. And, next year will be the same again. There's some really good younger players coming along. Even Nickerson has added soccer, so that'll help us again. And Bueller had a very good run this year, so there's a nice little chain again coming for us to add the local kids in, and it's something that's always been important to us. I think they try harder because like I said, their parents are there, their friends are there, their family are there, their soccer coaches come to watch them. So there's definitely a little bit of an incentive. Oh, I forgot about Brayley Mulder as well. There's an incentive for the local kids to really try hard and produce, and then. We give them that opportunity. That's the most important thing. Like you've got to recruit local kids when you're a community college.
Right.
But we do.
Sammy, what's the strength of your team going to be? Team speed or?
A couple of things. I think we'll be really good at the back. We should be very hard to get scored on, and then we got some flyers up front. Like Esther can run. She's a little bit lazy at times, but Esther's fast. Jenna tried to challenge her and lapped it in, got even with her, and Esther kind of just looked at her and said, I've got enough.
Hey, it happens, okay?
Esther goes, I've got a second gear, and just kind of leaves today. But I think Esther's really, really fast. She's a flyer. Got this kid from Wichita, Sam Vaughan, who's a really good player. She'll score goals for us. And then we've got this Jamaican kid coming in who's another flyer. So we really do have some serious wheels up front. So I think that'll be the strength of it. I was talking to Jim earlier, we might have to play a little bit more defensively at the start of the season until we get all the bodies in. But again, it'll suit us because we can play to our strength, which is our defending. We can kind of do what all the other teams do to us, sit back, and then we've got the guys up front. So, you put any ball out with the three we have up front with that speed, we can go and play that way. So it's good for us. We can play two different ways this year. We can sit back and defend, or we can just flat out go after them, and we'll see how it pans out. But definitely those are our two strengths.
At 51, are you the oldest staff member now?
Jesus. You just had Gandalf. Gandalf was ahead of me right here before me.
Maybe Patrick.
I'm getting close. Pat Hall is Gandalf, so you've got him.
I just went, it's all downhill now.
Oh no, I'm getting close though, trust me. Eck and Gandalf are still ahead of me, but I'm catching up to the rest of them. Once we get rid of a couple of them, then I'll become the oldest.
It's certainly long tenured.
Oh, I feel it. Trust me. Those guys are fine. They're indoors. They don't have to deal with the sun. I have to deal with all those harmful UV rays.
He's only
Hence,
the third longest
hence,
coach.
yeah, hence the aging factor that I have compared to those other two buggers.
Jenna, one thing that never gets discussed in the long term about this program is its defensive legacy. Even one year, they only allowed 4 goals in one season. You being on that back line, do you guys take it personal when one gets by and gets in the opponent's net?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we take it to heart. I mean, I would say, it's the whole team that it was created from the back. But, yeah, I mean, having such a low record for no goals being scored on us, I mean, we definitely take it to heart. If one of us falls back, I mean, it's the whole defensive line. But in the end, yeah, we take it to heart. And having Taylor last year, I mean, she was a big help on that. But hopefully Kiara can step up and really do a good job for us this year.
How do you see the team being defensively this year, Tammy?
I think, like I said, we'll be really good. I mean, we've got pace back there. We've signed a specialist defensive midfielder, and that's something I've never played with before. But that's someone who will play in front of the back two. There's 2 centre backs, which should really give us that stability again. I'm not a big fan of that style of soccer, but ultimately, if you don't give up a goal, you can't get beaten our game. So I think we'll do that a little bit more. And that'll protect the back 4 a little bit more. So we should even give up less goals, And again, like I said, what we have up front, and then maybe play a little bit more defensively, with the space that would exist in behind. I mean, it won't be as entertaining really, but it should be way more effective. I mean, it should be way more effective. We won a region playing that way in 2007, and so it's something that we'll work on. I think it's sometimes we can get a bit wide open. Especially when I want to keep going, and next you get a goal scored against you, and you're like, man, how are we losing this game? And especially in playoffs, because when you're one and done, the pressure's magnified then. So I think maybe we'll try and keep it a little bit tighter this year and just play more of a counter-attacking style and let the other teams figure that out then.
Anything else for Coach Lane and the players? Thank you very much. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
See you Thursday.
Next up, cross country. They had an okay year last year. Justin Riggs starting his 5th season. To my nearest is Andrew Kibet, sophomore from Kenya. He's only the defending national champion, no big deal. Tied the 8K school record last year with time 24:01. In the middle was sophomore Gabby Collins, sophomore from DeSoto. She was an NJCAA coaches All-American last year, finished 33rd at nationals, and posted the 3rd fastest 5K time in school history at 19:06.56. The men, JAF West champs last year, Region 6 champs last year, and finished 7th in the NJCAA. The women won their very first conference championship last year, were 3rd in Region 6 for the 2nd straight year, and 12th in the NJCAA national championships. So, Coach Riggs will give you an opening statement, then we'll open it up to questions.
Well, we've been going for 2 weeks now, just kind of preseason training, and just capped off with a time trial this past weekend. And saw some good things and bad things there, but we've got work to do yet. But we open our season here in 2 weeks at home at the Terry Masterson Twilight. It's August 30th, Friday night. And we've got a lot of new faces on our team. So, of our roster last year, we had 22 people combined, and I think we graduated 17 of them. So we did have a lot of success last year, but we've graduated a lot of the major contributors to that. But I think we've added in some key contributors, new ones. And right now, I think we're just trying to find that identity, each team, and then get everybody kind of going with our training program here right now and keep people healthy.
You have kids around for the summer, or most of them coming in now?
It was actually probably about half and half. We had some people staying here this summer, and a good group of guys that were actually able to train together. And Andrew stayed here this summer and worked on campus. And so those ones that stayed here this summer, I think have had a leg up. They seem to be a little bit more fit than the ones that weren't around. I didn't work with them, but I think just having the accountability of the training partners over the summer helped with those people, yeah.
You guys excited for the season to get underway?
Yeah, I want to race again. It's been a while.
But you, Andrew, you ready to get going?
Oh, yeah.
Andrew, coming off the championship from last year, what motivates you to become a better runner for this year?
besides winning the national title, I want to defend the title again. Yeah.
I think I've noticed he last year was actually his first year running cross country, and he's been more intent with his training for cross country. And we just ran the time trial, and he won this year. Last year, he kind of let Sylvester win it for him because I think he was still unsure about the whole cross country thing. But he has kind of a new focus. It seems like this year that I've been impressed with so far. So
It's good to have sophomore leadership come into this year with a whole new group of kids coming in.
yes, yeah, that's big, and I think, and it's going well so far. Just with different personalities, that we're trying to keep the same culture, but also kind of getting to know each other. But the sophomores are doing a good job of kind of showing everybody the ropes, I think, so far.
Gabby, talk about the girls a little bit, sophomores, the three of you guys, and you, and obviously you and Laseo had tremendous seasons last year. So, from your standpoint, talk about the girls' team.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the girls' team. They're all really good, and I can tell they actually want it, and so they've all been working really hard and everything. It's definitely weird, all the girls left last year basically, except for two of them. So it's definitely weird, and still trying to get used to it. But I'm really excited. Everybody's doing really good.
What did you see from the time trials for the girls, Justin?
I saw a competitive spirit, but we've got work to do, I think, overall. So luckily we still have time, for that. So, but like she said, I think they're doing a good job and they want to do well, and I could see that. But I think fitness-wise, we still have a ways to go, if that makes sense. Which, that's okay this time of year. So.
What did you notice about the time trials from the guys' side?
The guys' side, same thing. We actually, there's a couple guys that I think are going to be key contributors that we held out just because of the little, not necessarily hurt, but just some soreness thing, just precautionary. So I didn't get to see much from them, so that takes away some of the depth because I think, both of them have potential to be top contributors for us. But overall, times were pretty solid on the men's side and pretty comparable to years past and comparable to last year, so that's positive.
Anything else from Coach Riggs, the runners?
All right, thank you.
Terry Masterson Classic, also on the day from 8:30 at Fun Valley on Friday, August 30th.
Yep.
All right, last but not certainly least, football. Coach Rhodes had to speak at Rotary today, normally because he'll lead things off. Coach is in his 13th season. He's 89-48 with the Blue Dragons. And in 14 years as a head coach, 96-53, so he's coming up on his 100th win. With us on the far end over there is Kamari Gaines, a sophomore from Tallahassee. Last year he was an honorable mention defensive end in the conference. Nearest to me is Aaron Collins, a sophomore running back from Plant City, Florida. Played in just 2 games, and he was still honorable mention as a running back. We open the season up on Thursday at Ellsworth at 7 p.m., and then our home opener is Saturday, August 31st, noon kickoff against Independence at Gowan Stadium. So a opening statement from Coach Rhodes, and we'll open up to questions.
All right, guys, thanks for being here. We have had a short camp, shorter than normal, a couple of different ways. The number of practices we've been able to have up to this point is definitely a lower number than normal. A lot of that is due to the earliness of our first game, obviously being a Thursday night game, the 22nd of August. That makes your time frame a little tight. We're able to start practice on August 1st, so we have taken 2 what we call physical days of rest, where we've still done meetings and walkthroughs and that type of thing, but no workouts or practice. We're following the recommendations of the NJCAA, and really that's the new way in NCAA. 1 day out of every week, it's recommended that the guys have a day off. So it's been really important for this team this year, I think, because we have an extremely talented team. I feel like we got a lot of size Our O-line, D-line guys are big, physical, athletic guys. In terms of our skill positions, especially thinking about the defensive back receiver positions, those are really a tall, long, athletic group of guys. And I would say, we've had some really good receiving cores. The DB group is probably one of the better ones we've ever had, if not the best. Just a lot of depth there in addition to some real good frontline guys. But the camp practices have been really good. I think the guys have done a really good job responding to how we've done things. We've operated a little bit different this year than in years past, just with the 2 days of rest in there, and then a couple of practices where we felt like we needed to take the pads off and really do some mental stuff. So the talent and ability of our team is not a concern at all for me. I feel like we have great players that are good people. They've been working hard. My number one goal has been to get them to the first game as healthy as possible and with as much energy physically and mentally as possible. So these two guys that are sitting up here with me are great examples of our football team. They're really talented guys, but they're good people. They're fun to coach, fun to be around, and I think our staff definitely is one of the best I've ever been a part of. There's really good chemistry there, and I think our guys can see that. And we have a lot of fun as coaches too. So it's been a good camp. It's been a short one, and really with that, the main concerns going into the Ellsworth game are really just the uncertainty of what Ellsworth's going to be. We don't know really anything about them from an offense, defense, special team standpoint. They have a whole new staff, and there's not a lot to draw from. And you look back at where the coaches have been that are on their staff and do some digging that way, but you still don't know for sure what the personnel is going to be like and if that fits their scheme. So it'll be interesting to see, what type of offense, defense, kicking game schemes and formations and fronts and so on that we'll see. I'm sure we'll have to do some adjusting on the run, but I'm confident that our guys are excited about playing. We got a long trip ahead of us. We got to handle that well. But I think we'll show up to the game with a lot of energy, and our game plans really in all three phases of the game are very simple, because there's so many unknowns that we want to just get out there and play fast and allow these guys to do what they're good at.
With the experience and the depth that you have on your roster coming into the season, and only having the limited number of practices, has that been able to take over to help your team develop in that short amount of time?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you asking that question. I think it's super relevant to just kind of the feeling I've had with them. I feel real comfortable doing some of the things we've done in terms of not just taking time off, but just how we've done it. And I think it's a credit to two things. Number one, we have a good number of returning players, and so there's some old heads, so to speak, in the team and a good number of them, and that helps. But I think also our coaches, the staff has just done a tremendous job of teaching our system, and that goes all the way back to spring football. Got a new offense under Coach Dallas coming in the spring. The guys did a great job of teaching and installing that in the spring. And then the way the summer worked is most of our returning players were here all summer, which is great. Get a chance to keep them fresh on what we do, offense and defense, in addition to being in good shape. But then our new guys, our freshmen and a few transfer guys, got in right after the 4th of July and have been here ever since. So it's a credit to our players picking it up well, but it's a big tribute to our coaches who have done just a fantastic job of installing and teaching.
Talk about these two guys. Sophomore leadership is so important on a team. Talk about them, each one of them individually. Good coach.
You bet. I'll start with Aaron. Aaron's situation last year was just a real challenging one. He started off just on fire. He had 2 games, played against Ellsworth and Independence as our starting running back last year, and I don't remember the numbers exactly, but he was around 150 yards rushing in both of those games. And then in warm-ups of Game 3 against Iowa Western, just a real simple movement of catching a kickoff and putting his foot in the ground to run it back to give it to the kicker, broke his 5th metatarsal, and it didn't heal real quick, and so we ended up not having him the rest of the year. And that's a tough situation for him and our football team. Des did a good job filling in, and some other guys had to play, but it definitely, I think, would have made a big difference, had Aaron stayed healthy all last year, because he's a phenomenal football player, and he knows I feel this way about him, so I don't mind saying it publicly. I mean, I think Aaron's an NFL player. Someday he's going to be playing at that level. He's got a great personality. He's super easygoing. I think he's very confident, but yet very humble, carries himself the right way, and he's just extremely talented. So he's a great teammate, and I really just appreciate the way not only he plays the game, but I appreciate how he approaches everything we ask him to do. He's always right on point on doing things the right way. And then Kamari started the season as a freshman right out of high school last year in a backup role, and very quickly moved into a starting job. Kamari's a extremely talented player. He reminds me a lot of kind of a combination of Jeremiah Ledbetter and Marquavius Lewis, 2 guys that were fantastic players for us back in 2014. And I think Kamari also has just an incredibly bright future in college football and hopefully beyond. But he's another guy that's just solid. Day in and day out, he's doing the right thing. He's accountable. He's got a funny side to him that I think his teammates appreciate. He's got a really good sense of humor. I just see it every once in a while when he doesn't know I'm around. I get to see a little bit of that, but he's pretty serious, I guess, when I'm around. But they're both good guys, and having these 2 plus a bunch of other older guys, whether they played for us, redshirted for us last year, or transfers coming in, I just think our guys are really good in terms of mindset. They understand that we're all just a part of this thing, and we all have an important job to do, and everybody's counting on us to do it.
Aaron, I have a 2-part question for you. Number 1, what is your level of hungriness to get back into game action after sitting out all that time? And 2, what's it like to run behind the offensive line with the size that you guys have?
Yeah, coming back this year, I'm really hungry because I haven't played a game since September, and just being out all season last year, it was kind of a heartbreaking for me because I wasn't doing what I love, which is playing football. So on Thursday, I'm gonna come with some hungriness for sure, and running behind the O-linemen this year, I have faith in them a lot because from starting camp to now, they have progressed a lot. So I'm ready to see what Thursday holds.
Sophomore leadership at the DN position is pretty important. Your coach talked about a couple other names that have been here, but just kind of been DN and D-tackle school. You have to be excited for the season coming up.
Yes, sir, I am. I feel really confident in our defense because not only the starting guys that are out there are skilled, but the guys behind them are really skilled. And I think it's really effective if you have guys that who are out there at first that are eating up, stacking up, and then have fresh guys coming in that are going against the other guys who are running down tired. And those guys are out there doing other things that come out there from the other guys. And I just feel like it's really effective that way.
Is it coming to you easier this year, your sophomore year? Things fall into place better?
Yes, sir, they are. I just feel like with the way that Coach Rose, he talks to me a lot about just being humble and stuff like that, when I was getting recruited and things like that, and just remaining to be a leader and show, accountability for stuff, and that's what really helped.
Where were you two when the earthquake hit on Friday?
I was actually asleep when it happened.
Did it wake you up?
Oh yeah, I couldn't go back to sleep after that.
Have you been through an earthquake before?
Never. I'm from Florida, so we don't get those too much.
Coach, where were you at?
I was in the football office. It's actually the second time I've been in the football office when we had one. So the other one was a while back, one that centered in like Medford, Oklahoma or something, I think. But it's wild. I couldn't figure out for sure. Split second there, I thought somebody ran into the building in like an 18-wheeler or something. And it was a pretty loud thud.
Anything else for Coach Rhodes and the players? Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.